Right.
We've got 10 people on.
Let's start.
Good morning, Shabbat Shalom. It's a pleasure and a privilege to welcome you here this morning. These four walls are very happier than they've been in many months to see so many people here. We begin our worship with the singing of Ma Tovu on page 283 in your prayer list. Eternal our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us and to the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lovers of your name and students of your Torah. Blessed is the Eternal, the teacher of Torah to his people Israel, Baruch atah Adonai, Melamei Torah l'amo Yisrael. These are the obligations without measure, whose reward too is without measure. Together.
Father and Mother, to perform acts of love and kindness within the house of study daily, to welcome the stranger, to visit the sick, to rejoice with the bride and groom, to console the bereaved, to pray with sincerity, to make peace when there is strife, and the study of Torah is equal to them all.
There's a peace to them all. The Talmud Torah Neged Bond. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as I have breath, therefore, I will give thanks to you, O Lord my God, and God of all ages, Master of all creation, Lord of every evil spirit. Blessed is the Lord, in whose hands are the souls of all living and the spirits of all flesh. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sechvi bina l'halkihi bein yom u'bein laha'ilah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben Chorim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tokei achi Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokeh kefufim. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, mechim et tzaddik adem. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozi Yisrael Dikuram. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Otei Yisrael b'tifaram. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Anoten li'gav kavam. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ma'avir she'eina me'einai pneumono me'ha'apachai. The Lord our God and God of all ages, school us in your Torah and bind us to your Mitzvah. Help us to keep far from sin, to master temptation, and to avoid falling under the spell. May our darker passions not rule us, or evil companions lead us astray. But strengthen in us the voice of conscience, prompt us to deeds of goodness, and bend our every impulse to your service, so that this day and always we may know your love and the goodwill of all who behold us. Blessed is the Lord, who bestows love and kindness on his people Israel. Baruch Adonai, Gomel Chasadim Tovim L'Amo Yisrael. At all times, let us revere God inwardly as well as outwardly, acknowledge the truth and speak it in our hearts. Rubon Kol Ha'olamim, Master of all the world, not in reliance upon the righteousness of our deeds do we place our longings before you. We look instead to your abundant mercy. For what are we? What is our life? What our faithfulness? What is our goodness? What our moral strength? What can we say in the presence of the Lord our God about the Lord? Are not all the conquerors as nothing before you, and those of renown as though they had not been? The learned as if they had no knowledge, and the wise as if without understanding. Many of our works are vain, and our days pass away like a shadow. Since all our achievements are insubstantial as mist, how dare we look upon ourselves as higher than the beast? Yet despite all our frailty,
Your people will humble your covenant and call to your service. Therefore, thank you and bless you. Claim the holiness of your name.
Blessed is the one who spoke and the world came to be. Blessed is the source of creation. Blessed is the one
whose word indeed brought us back.
Blessed is the one whose compassion covers the earth and all its creatures.
Blessed is the living and eternal God, ruler of the universe, divine source of deliverance and help.
With songs of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, our God and King, for you are the source of life in the universe.
Blessed is the eternal King, to whom our praises due.
The heavens declare the glory of God, the arch of sky reveals God's handiwork.
He pours on speech today, one who expresses knowledge to the other.
They have no speech, they use no words, no voice of theirs is heard.
Yet their call goes out through all the earth, and their words to the edge of the universe.
Let all who are righteous sing God's song.
The upright do well to proclaim him.
Thank the Lord on the harp, accompany your chant with strings.
Sing to him a new song, graciously and skillful play.
For the word of the Lord holds good, his word commands our trust.
He loves justice and right, his steadfast love fills the earth.
The heavens were made by the word of the Lord, their starry host by the power of his thoughts.
For he spoke and it was, he commanded and it stood firm.
The Lord's plan will stand forever.
His thought will endure for all time.
He fashioned the hearts of all of us.
He understands the meaning of our lives.
No king is saved by the power of his arms, no warrior by the reason of his strength.
A war horse will not help you, for all strength it cannot save.
Therefore we trust in the Lord. He is help and our shield. In him we rejoice, and in his Holy Spirit we can trust.
Let your steadfast love rest upon us, O Lord, as we put our trust in you.
They shall speak of the glory of your kingdom and tell of your strength.
To reveal your power to the world and the glorious splendor of your kingdom.
Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom.
Your dominion endures for all generations.
Lord, you support the fallen, you raise up all who are bowed down.
The eyes of all turn to you to sustain my life in need.
You open your hand to fulfill the needs of all living.
Lord, you are just on your path, so many your needs.
Lord is near to all who call upon him, to all who call upon him in truth.
Will fulfill the law.
My lips shall declare the glory of the Lord. Let all flesh bless his holy name forever.
We will bless the Lord now. Hallelujah.
Please rise. Ose Shalom, Uvarei Et Hakol, Hama'ir, Ba'aretz, Ba'adarim, Aleha, Barakamim, Uchivo, Makadesh, B'chol Yom Tamid, Me'aseha, Bereshit, Ma'arabu Ma'asecha, Adonai Kulam, B'chokma Asita, Me'laha Ha'aretz, Kiminecha, Tifbarach, Adonai Eloheinu, Al-Shabach, Ma'aseh, Yedecha, Yal, Ma'oreh, Or, She'asita, Yifa'arucha, Salah, Baruch Adonai, B'tzir HaMavrah. Deep is your love for us, O Lord our God, and great is your compassion. Our Maker and King, your ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life, and be gracious now to us and teach us. Have compassion upon us, O source of mercy, and guide us to know and understand. Learn and teach, observe and uphold, with love in all teachings of the Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching. Help us to hold fast to your Mitzvah and unite our hearts to love and revere your name.
Then shall we never be shamed, for we shall put our trust in you, great and most awesome. We shall rejoice and be glad of your salvation, for you, O God, are the author of many deliverances. In love you have chosen us and drawn us near to you, to serve your faithfulness and to claim your unity.
Blessed is the Lord, who in love has chosen his people Israel to serve him.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord is
Lord
our
our
God,
God,
the Lord is one.
Blessed is the glorious reign.
forever and ever.
Please be seated. We read together at the middle of page 33.
You shall love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your strength, with all your being. Set these words that I command you this day upon your heart.
Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, that they be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Be mindful of all my mitzvot, and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I, the Lord, am your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I, the Lord, am your God. True and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good, and beautiful is this eternal teaching.
This truth we hold to be certain. The eternal God is our King. He is the rock of Jacob, our protecting shield.
He abides through all generations. His name is eternal. His throne stands firm. His sovereignty and faithfulness are forever lasting.
His words live and endure, true and precious to all eternity.
Lord our God, you redeemed us from Egypt.
You set us free from the house of bondage.
For this, the people who felt your love sang songs of praise to you.
The living God, high and exalted, mighty and awesome.
Who humbles the proud and raises the lowly, who frees the captive and redeems the oppressed.
Who is the answer to all cry out to him.
praise to God Most High, the source of blessing. Like Moses and Israel, we sing to him this song of rejoicing. Please rise for the Amidah on page 306. Say that on page 306. Verse 7.
Eternal is your might, O Lord. All life is your gift. Great is your power to save. For love to sustain the living, with great compassion you lighten all. You send help to the fallen and healing to the sick. You bring freedom to the captive and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you in your might? Who is your equal, O Lord of life and death, the source of salvation? Blessed is the Lord, the source of life. God is not the ages past.
May our rest in this day be pleasing in our sight.
Sanctify us with good food, and restore us in our life. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you with truth. In your gracious love, O Lord our God, let your holy Sabbath remain our heritage, that all Israel, hallowing your name, may find rest and peace. Blessed is the Lord, the Sabbath and its holiness.
Uti l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha el karav pnei el avadecha v'chanenu shafocha ruchacha alenu v'tekazena enenu b'shikha u'zion v'rachamim baruch atah Adonai kama chazir shekinato u'zion. Together our patiently live.
We gratefully acknowledge that you are the Lord our God, God of our people, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in the age. We thank you and sing your praises for our lives, which are in your hands, for our souls which are in keeping. The signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning and night. Your goodness, your mercies never end, your compassion, your love will never fail.
For all these things, O sovereign God, let your name be forever exalted and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Lord, whose nature is goodness, we give you thanks and praise.
313, peace, happiness, and blessing, grace, and love and mercy. May these descend on us, on all Israel and all the world.
Bless us, our Creator, and all the light of your presence.
By that light of God, you will
Reveal to us the law of life, of kindness and justice and mercy, to seek blessing and light and peace.
Oh, bless your people Israel and all peoples with enduring peace. Praise to the Lord, who blesses his people Israel with peace.
Continuing in silent prayer.
Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah.
Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai L'Yerushalayim, Baruch Shematan Torah Torah, Baruch Shematan Torah Torah, Li'amo Yisrael.
Jewish tradition has it that Moshe Kibbel Torah Sinai, that Moses received a teaching, a scroll of Torah at Mount Sinai, and that Moses transmitted that Torah and its teachings to Joshua, and then to the sages and elders of ancient Israel, the men of the Great Assembly, the prophets, and finally to the rabbis and sages. However we understand this literally or as metaphor, this much is certainly true. The Torah and all that it embodies has survived to this day because parents have cared enough to teach it to their children, teachers have cared enough to give it to their students. This morning we continue the chain of tradition door to door as the Torah scroll is handed down to parents and then to child with thoughts for grandparents who are up in Detroit and would normally be here as well in the chain of tradition. And with a fervent prayer that Jack too may one day be blessed to transmit to pass this Torah scroll down to his children and to his grandchildren. Jack is reading from Key Tate Say, which is a long list of laws and commandments and stuff. Those of you who'd like to follow along and see what Jack's reading for us may do so in the middle of your programs. The Prince of Jack is reading long. Talamod, Paya, Tabahana, Luma, Liyot, Bat, Aharon, Bahira, Lisheva, Rishana. Baruch Adonai Amen. Aharon ben Yisrael Mitzvah, Adira Lisheva Bat Abraham, Shniya.
Baruch Adonai HaBarak.
Baruch Adonai Baruch
Baruch Adonai Baruch Olam. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam l'tah b'tolteinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yamud Habakor Haba Mitzvah Menachem Yaakov Ben Aharon Vadira Elisheva Maftir Baruch Adonai Baruch Amen. Amen. Yamdu Sabin Abraham V'Sharon Abad Yosef Akbar Gelilah. Practicing this for a few days. Working out. Stand. We'll continue now with the Haftarah reading from Isaiah.
kide totai kazeki. Kiani Simon Tifra Otsi. Zar'eh Kohim Yirash. Va'arni Shemot Yoshibu. Tiri Kiba Ote Goshen. Yati Oni Kibo Takbiri Kibo Shakonim. Mali Tishaki Ezra Karpat. Tai Kibo Tiskuyo. Ki Olai Osai. Adana Sila Shema Ole Kido Shisael Ele Oretzi Kare. Bruchas Adonai Melech Olam Sofu Amin Sadiku Kovarot Adonai Amen Fose Hamadaber Kayim Shekoze Varad and Vatsle Ahatorah Yom Ga'ab Yom Yom Hashavat Hazeh Shnat Talmani Adonai Elohim L'Kishal L'Nefa L'Kavo L'Sifore Alakovom Adonai Elohim Anachim Modi Moab M'Farchim Otah L'Parashim Shmach B'Fik Ochai Tani Le'Lon V'Ed Baruch V'Ata Adonai Me'Kadesh Hashavat.
Amen. Jessica?
Bless, O God, this congregation, those who lead and serve it, those who contribute to its strength. Bless all who enter this house, that the worship offered within its walls may be worthy of your greatness and your love, and that all who seek your presence here may find it. For the joy of community, the gift of diversity, and the vision of harmony, we offer our grateful thanks. Bless our land and all its inhabitants. Prosper us in all our undertakings. Be with those whom we have chosen to lead us, that they may strive to establish justice and opportunity for all, and labor to bring peace to the family of nations. Bless the household of Israel, wherever they dwell. Be with us here where we worship you in freedom. And may those who live under oppressive rule find release and liberty speedily in our own day. May your favor rest upon Israel, her land, her people. Protect her against hatred and war. Grant that the promise of her beginning may ripen into fulfillment, bringing comfort to those who seek refuge, light to those who dwell in darkness, new hope to all humanity. And let us say, Amen.
We return now to our prayer books, page 422, as we stand to return the scroll to the ark. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, King of God, from Olam Vado. Let us praise the name of God, for God's name alone is exalted.
The Mitzvah of the Lord is clear, giving light to the eyes.
The word of the Lord is pure, enduring forever.
The judgments of the Lord are true, and altogether just.
It's
Jack, we now have some special presentations and little gifts to kind of get you started. You can sit down for a moment. To represent the Temple Board of Trustees is the President of the Congregation, Mark Raven, followed by a representative or spokesperson for the Jewish Federation and the Temple Sisterhood. Mark?
I have a role here other than videographer, which I'm not very experienced at. In passing on the Torah from generation to generation, it exemplifies one of the primary, most important functions of a house of worship, of a synagogue, and that is to educate. That is to educate and bring along our youth and to teach them our religion. And your bar mitzvah, Jack, is a very important milestone, not only for you, but for the temple. I am most impressed not only with your skill with Hebrew, something I struggle with very much, as demonstrated today, but your confidence in adult-bearing employees. I have witnessed many public presentations, including that of your fathers in the courtroom. You can hold your own. Scotty's coming after you. Amber and Scott, this is a special, important day for both of you. Your guidance and tenacity in leading Jack to today, in the face of all the obstacles that we've been confronted with in these days of pandemic and quarantine, is nothing short of amazing. I salute you. On behalf of the members of the Temple of Bris Shalom, and on behalf of the Temple Board of Trustees, I am honored to be here today to present you with your certificate of bar mitzvah and the Torah with commentaries. But let me caution you, your original Torah with commentaries didn't arrive yet, so this is not for you to take home. We'll have to come after you to get it. This is just a token of the congregation's recognition and appreciation of your devotion to your religion and Jewish traditions. Jack, I congratulate you.
All right, Jack. Next we have something from the Temple Sisterhood, from Kathleen Carianti and Joni Bromwitz, the co-presidents of that venerated organization. Congratulations, Jack, on this signal achievement and milestone of your bar mitzvah. With the support of your parents and friends, you have studied hard, have focused on the task, and tenaciously pursued your goal. You should be very proud. Your reading of the Torah portion and all the pertinent lessons, as well as the Hebrew that you have learned, will assure that you will fulfill your role as an adult in this congregation. You will be counted in a minion, be able to follow services, and fully participate in all aspects of temple life. On behalf of Temple Bris Shalom Sisterhood, we wish you the very best in the days and years ahead, and today present you with a copy of the book on the doorpost of your house for an excellent addition to your Jewish library. This one is yours to keep. A hearty mazel tov on your special day, and once again, congratulations to you and your family for all that you have accomplished. Warm regards. And if Kathleen and Joni were here, they would probably hug you. from the Jewish Federation. Jack, mazel tov on your bar mitzvah. You've done a wonderful job and it's no surprise. You've studied with Rabbi Das and Mrs. Snyder, practiced and perfected your Torah and the parts of the service which you led. When you were much younger, you were determined to learn how to ask in Hebrew the 4 questions which were part of the Passover Seder, so that you could ask them at the community Seder attended by over 100 people. You succeeded. What wonderful memories for your family and grandparents who visited at that time, and for your sister Ava, who without fail found the afikomen in the hidden matzah, a true family affair. Again, through practice, although of a different kind, you've become an accomplished soccer player. To be successful, you had to learn skills, how to work with and for your team. You figured out how to use your talents and strengths to help your team overcome its collective weaknesses and vulnerabilities in order to win. Over these past months, you recognized that so many in Springfield suffered from food insecurity and you wanted to do something about it. You connected organizations that support and assist those in need in Springfield and Chatham. Through your Mitzvah project, you have volunteered to be part of their teams, help them fulfill their mission, as well as organize and lead your own team to support the most vulnerable members of our community. I know that nothing is more important to your mom and dad than family, which is at the heart of Jewish values. The traditions of Torah, learning, tzedakah, charity, chesed, caring for others, klal Yisrael, love for the Jewish people, and tikkun olam, repairing the world, all stand alongside family as paramount among Jewish values. Your experience reflects them all. These values are also at the core of the mission of the Jewish Federation of Springfield, of which your mom and dad have been leaders. These values are behind everything we do, from helping the most vulnerable all over the world to serving our own Springfield community. The Federation was founded nearly 80 years ago to help Jews in Europe who were living in horrific conditions and were persecuted simply because they were Jews. Today, Federation remains committed to helping Jewish communities all over the world. We deliver critical aid and life-saving medicines to vulnerable populations, the elderly, people with disabilities, at-risk children, and foster Jewish identities wherever Jews live. On behalf of the Federation, it is my honor to present you with the tzedakah box. It is our hope that we will continue the Jewish tradition of tzedakah and that caring for one another will be an integral part of your life and Jewish identity. Nancy Say, Executive Director of the Jewish Federation. And I know she would have grabbed it.
Hello everyone. Today I found my tongue for Mitzvah. I spent many hours preparing for this day, just like my sisters, dad, cousins, aunt, and uncles all did before me. Today we celebrate this tradition, and I'm so glad it's finally here. Joining now, thanks to COVID, here we are in routine life. #pandemic, #bar mitzvah. Welcome all to this most traditional experience brought to you in the most untraditional way. I cannot see some of you, and I cannot hear you, but I know you are here with me virtually, so thank you. Teacher, you for sharing this moment with me, I give you a shout out. It's hard to believe it, but I turned 13 2 weeks ago, August 11th. This means today I speak to you as a man in the eyes of my Jewish community. To get here, I've been involved in years of study, participated in religious Sunday school. I followed customs, traditions, participated in holiday events, learned how to read Hebrew, and it's been no easy task. There have been prayers prayed and lessons learned, the reading and interpreting of the Torah, studies with Rabbi Miss Snyder, I don't necessarily to know alone. And this brings me to my total portion. It's called Ketete. It's mostly a list of rules. Rules are something I know quite a bit about. My mom creates the rules. My mom enforces the rules. My dad, he breaks the rules. That's what lawyers do. Our entire life, if you think about it, revolves around rules. Implied rules, moral rules, legal rules, school rules, sports rules, or even religious rules. Every part of our world involves rules. Now that we are going through this COVID crisis, politicians are imposing rules. Rules meant to govern our behavior. It gets you thinking, what are the purpose of all these rules? What happens if you don't follow the rules? What happens if you do follow the rules? Who are the rule makers, the rule followers? Why do we need these rules? It's exhausting to think about. The rules in Ketete are given to us from Moses, the leader of the Jewish people. Ketete consists of 72 commandments. There were 600 commandments in the Torah, 613 to be exact. It's a long list. Among them, Moses gives the Jewish people rules on a variety of subjects. The rules touch on family relationships, aspects of daily life, justice, family responsibility, and work. Here are a few rules in my observations. If a beautiful woman is taken captive in war, you may take her as a wife. Now, what exactly does this mean? What do you do if an ugly woman is taken captive? Is she off limits? I think this rule is a bit outdated and a bit sexist. Women are not to be taken, but rather respected and treated as equal. Remember, ugly ducklings turn into beautiful swans. So for Moses 0, Jack 1. Moses then says, however, you must wait a month before you take her. A woman is not a possession for a man to take. I think the sentiment Moses is trying to express is take your time. Remember, patience is a virtue. In the next one, Moses says, you wait a month so that she may weep for her mother and her father. If you do not take pleasure in her, you must let her go as she wishes. Neither sell her for money nor take advantage of her. I'm not entirely sure this stuff Moses is talking about is in my wheelhouse. Another rule. If a man has a son who is disobedient and will not listen to his father and mother, then the parents shall take him to the elders of the city for judgment. This sounds foreboding. Basically, don't break the law or you go to jail. Like the Monopoly game, when you instruct him to go directly to jail. How about this one? If you see your brother's animals go astray and find them, you must return the animals to your brother. If your brother is not near or you do not know the owner, then you may keep the animal until someone inquires for it, and then you shall return. This is an easy one. Finders keepers. Until it's not. And how about this rule? All men and women must wear clothing appropriate to their gender. While this rule is outdated, it does not match up with today's modern world. Clothing is not necessarily gender specific anymore. In this rule, if a mother bird is sitting on her eggs or is with her young ones, you must not take the mother with her young. You must set the mother free, but the young you may take her for yourself. Sounds like kidnapping. Then there's this rule. When you build a new house, you shall make a guardrail for your roof so no one shall fall. It begs the question, why are you standing on your roof? Another rule. You must not return a slave who has taken refuge with you from his master. I like this one. We shall look out for one another. No one should be a slave. Here an easy rule. Keep your promises. Good words to live by. How about this one? A rule about sharing. You may eat of your neighbor's grapes, but you may not carry the grapes with you. I like it. Take what you need, leave some for others. Excellent advice. How about this rule? If a man steals from his brother, the thief shall die. So what he is saying is you can steal from your sister. Next rule. Do not withhold anything from a day laborer who is poor or a stranger. Pay them the rightful wages before sundown. This means if you pay an honest wage, you should get an honest day's labor. Fair enough. Recognize one's good work ethic. And the last rule. If there is a dispute between men, they shall come before the court to be judged. This is fine. You can trust the judge and jury. Now to be serious, I've thought about the rules and laws. Are they necessary? And what would happen with them? Obviously, there's a place for rules in society. Rules govern our behavior. They give predictability to our conduct. Rules add structure to our lives. Like the rules of the road, all drivers must follow. Everyone drives on the right side of the road. Well, that's generally correct. It's okay for a homeless, hungry man to steal a loaf of bread. I think that's more acceptable than a bank robber or someone who defrauds the elderly. In return to the rule about the mother bird and her eggs, Moses says, you must not take her with her young in her presence, but rather you must set the mother free and take the young after she is gone. Rabbi Gatz explained to me that this is not about being okay with kidnapping so much as it is the Torah's teaching us to be sensitive to others' feelings. It is important that the mother bird not see us taking her eggs. We need to be considerate in the feelings of others. It's called empathy. That is an important part of the lesson. Rabbi also asked me the importance of rules in my life. For me, I considered sports as well. I thought about what it would be like. I thought about what it would be like to play if there were no rules in baseball. If there were no foul balls called or no strikes, what competition would that be? Not much. The rules set boundaries of fair play. It keeps everyone who participates on a level playing field. Now, looking back at the rule about the guardrails on the roof, those are the early versions of today's building codes. The rules for how you build a house are put in to ensure people's safety. We could stop our houses from falling down all around us without rules. But there's a point when too many rules and they become too burdensome to follow. I think that can happen and we should be able to change the rules. For example, if there's already a rule that prevents people from standing on a roof, there's no reason to have a rule about guardrails. Some people do not seem like to be what you're told or to do too much. The problem that can happen if someone's failure to follow rules hurts someone else. These are difficult questions we are seeing in difficult times. Overall, I think it's best to follow rules and adjust to new and changing rules. Use them as guides or steps on a ladder to get through life. I've also learned going through this that some laws and rules help keep us safe. Some are for what it is, fair, and some for order. And some simply makes worse wrong. We need to keep an open mind because sometimes changing the rule to keep up with the times is a good thing. We should ask ourselves, does the law make sense? Is it fair? And is it even needed? Now, the speech is almost over. I hope I've enlightened you and I hope that you're also wiser. I'd like to take some time to thank some people. Rabbi Gatz, we did it. We made it through this day over and over. Thank you for all your time with me and all the years you have given, and all the years of study you have given me for Jewish learning. I really appreciate your help and advice you give. Mrs. Snyder, thank you for the Hebrew lessons and your patience with me, teaching me with the Torah portions and Haftarah was no small task. And I especially thank you for being here today, chanting your songs. And thank you, Mrs. Sabin, for the musical accompaniment. Thank you. Great job today. Now to some people that couldn't be here today. Rabbi Marks, thank you for your teachings and the time with me at religious school. I've been coming since I was 3. You were always very nice to me. Congratulations on your retirement. Mrs. Gober Bell, you've been part of my growing up here well since the temple. Thank you so much for all you've done. Thank you to my friends and family for being here. My grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Papa Jerry, happy birthday and nice job with the Torah. Thank you to the Campbell family and the Scott family. We are a small but mighty group. Thank you for coming out. To my grandma Marilyn and Papa Mitch, I know you were watching. I'm sorry this COVID thing's apart. Keeps us apart, but it's only distance. I have you here in my heart. I love you. To all my Michigan cousins, online peeps, Chicagoland, Uncle Brad and Nick Ginn, and beyond, see you in the next bike trip. Some things are best waited for. Thank you, Ava, for the most part. You're a great sister. You did this before me, and you're a tough act to follow. I love that you're my sister and that we have fun and can wreak havoc around the house. And you know there's no better brother or sister doing on TikTok than us. Love you guys. Mom and Dad, a great big thank you and a deep sigh of relief. While chasing me down to study Hebrew, write the speech, and go all my lessons. That's certainly not been easy. I do appreciate all you have done to support me and help me be ready for this day. While some days were frustrating, I see the point of all this now, so just kidding. Sorry, I pushed you through hell a couple times. I love you. And everyone, I leave you with some final rules. Don't get too caught up in life, stay healthy, stay happy, drive fast. Take chances, but wear your seatbelt. Jack Scott, go get me a juice box. Chase, no better even Call of Duty. Sorry, needed to be said. And to ball, as Ferris Bueller once said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. Thank you all.
Jack, the day your mother and father walked into my office and said your mother wanted to learn more about Judaism and maybe become Jewish was the day this congregation and community won the lottery. They have given us of their time, talents, and resources, and they have given us their children. For pandemic-related reasons, as much as your family wishes that others could be here today, there are probably even more who wish they could be here today for you or your family. One of them, for example, is Nancy Say, Executive Director of Federation, who has told me she just adores your parents, and many others will agree. And now it's your turn to step up to the plate. Wait, that's baseball. You also do baseball or just soccer? Both. Sports metaphors are not my strongest. In becoming a bar mitzvah, you take the first tentative steps towards following your parents' example. And no, you don't have to be just like your parents. You just have to find your own path. But we hope and pray that it will be a Jewish path and that you'll score a few goals for the Jewish team. They're a soccer before. Jack, you're a young man of good character. Not many bar mitzvah boys have such kind words for an older sister. And you have your own unique slant on things as evidenced by your speech. It's probably one of the longest ones I've heard in my career as a rabbi. And had you had your way, it would have been done in half the time. Except that your mother and father might kept nagging you, slow down. But never mind that. It bespeaks a spirit of inquisitiveness. It had a charm all of its own. And the style of your speech, almost like snappy one-liners, says something about that you are straight to the point with good humor. But it was something else you said, Jack. Jack 1, Moses 0, like a score sheet, that I want to highlight this morning. As you know, your parsha contains 74 commandments or mitzvah in it. That's the most of any Torah portion. As you point out, Judaism is made up of 615 such mitzvot. Many years ago, a professor taught me that the number 613 probably shouldn't be taken too literally. It is based on the notion of 248 positive commandments, do this or that, and 365 negative commandments, don't do this or that. The professor said that the numbers 248 and 365 are no coincidence. In biblical times, it was thought that there were 248 parts of the body, and of course 365 days in the year. You add the two up, it adds up to 613. Now, there are some Jews who like to keep score. I do more mitzvot than you, therefore I win. I'm the better, more pious, more religious Jew. My professor said that's not the way to look at Jewish identity. Being Jewish is about doing things Jewish with every part of your body and soul, and doing them every day of the week, not just occasionally or when you feel like it. In other words, be Jewish with all of you all the time. Be a great soccer player if that is your gift and your talent. But just as importantly, be the best Jewish soccer player. When you're carrying that ball, carry it with Jewish principles of fair play. When you win, do so with the Jewish principle of humility. When you lose, do so with Jewish hope that you'll try harder and win next time. And when you get rich and famous and marry a beautiful fashion model or a spice girl, remember to give some of that wealth to tzedakah. You can bend it like Beckham, and where there is hurt or pain in the world, you can mend it like Nahum. And while Beckham has a dog named Sage, remember that you descend from a line of rigid sages and rabbis and scholars. Jack, it's been a pleasure working with you. May you have a bountiful life, rich in blessings that you share with others. You already have a good start with a family such as yours. Now take it the full 9 yards. Oops, that's football. Sorry. Can't be right, so may it be God's will. Let's together with that.
Jack, we're so proud of you. Beyond, we can't think of any more words in the honor you take my breath away. Our dad and I are very proud of the man you've become. And thank you for showing your heart and really honoring your family and your friends and people along your journey today. I love you.
Yeah, look what you've done today. These people who are here, that come out during this pandemic for you. Mark, how many do we have online now? The last he told me there was at least 30 online who were watching from across the country, as far as Palm Springs, Arizona, Colorado, and they're all here for you today. So, what can we tell you about our son, your brother, grandson, nephew, cousin, friend that you don't already know? Jack Holden Sabin was born a scrappy fighter 13 years ago, August 11, 2007. He is partly named after his paternal great-grandfather, Benjamin Jack Sabin. That's Papa Mitchie and Uncle Nison's dad, my grandpa. Jack Holden. Holden is his middle name. Your mom indulged me and allowed me to name you after my favorite character in all literature. A caustic, cantankerous, cynical skeptic with delusions or visions of saving kids from running through a field of rye and catching them before they plummeted off a cliff. That being Holden Caulfield, the catcher in the rye. You're likely to learn about him in the next few years, and if the Jack School District doesn't make you read the book, I will. Your Hebrew name, Menachem, is an amalgamation of 2 other people who were very special in your mom and dad's life. Morris Harkin, that's Grandma Marilyn's dad, my grandpa, or Moishe. And Norman Army Armstrong, that's Papa Randy and Aunt Stacy and Aunt Yuzette's father, or your mom's grandpa. And his Jewish brethren referred to him, Nahum. So Moishe and Nahum, it's a combination to give us Menachem. Jack, today is your day, but to be honest, it's also your mom's day. I don't know who was more nervous about today, Mom or Jack, but we're here. And we want to take this moment to tell you how proud of you we are in front of all our family and friends. We're proud not only for what you've accomplished, your Torah reading and all, but also how you presented yourself and shown yourself as the confident young man that you are. This was not easy work today. So good job. As you said, your bar mitzvah represents the culmination of years of study, a lot of preparation, dedication, sweat, and tears, literally, went into reaching this milestone. But you did it, and we are so happy to celebrate with you. So to all of you, and the Jack that you know, whether it's Sabin, or Captain, or Jack or Jacko, however you refer to him, you may notice what Amber and I do. He is inquisitive, He is smart, he is funny, he is sometimes, if not often, stubborn. He is fearless, and he is loyal to a fault. He's an okay athlete. He is compassionate and caring most of the time. And truly, as Rabbi had suggested, he views the world through a most unique set of eyes. Amber and I marvel at times at what he comes up with. We'll call them Jackisms. Family and friends can attest to this. It started many years ago when we were riding to a drive-in theater to meet our friends, the Schlossers. It was raining out. Jack was sitting in the back seat, probably not much older than 6, staring out the window, deep in thought. As the sun crept out and a rainbow emerged, the little guy looks out the window at the sky the way a dog kind of cranes its head when it sees something for the first time. And he asks, "Dad, what would happen if all the waters from all the lakes and seas and oceans on the earth were dumped on the sun? Would it snuff it out?" I was stumped. I had no answer other than said, "Jack, that's a great question. And as soon as we get to the movie theater, I suggest you ask Mr. Schlosser." He did just that. He asked our friend Fred, and without skipping a beat, having raised 2 boys of his own, Fred said, "Jack, I don't know, but you have one hot shot." The answer satisfied Jack somewhat, and he found it more credible than my demur. Jack can also be highly motivated at times. Some might say crafty and beguiling. There was the occasion that he suggested we go out for ice cream. And I said, "We." He reminded me that he'd been particularly good that week, and we should reward ourselves with a treat. And as I said, as smart to include me, the time was quick to agree. Yes, we deserve a treat. I asked him which ice cream store we liked to go, and he suggested the one near the bookstore. I didn't remember there being one near the bookstore, but he said, "Sure there is. Just follow my directions." So we hop in the car, and he navigates us through Springfield, past many strip malls, and we arrive, and lo and behold, there's no ice cream store. Jack seemed to feign disappointment, which was unusual because he usually doesn't hold back to complain, but me not wanting to disappoint him, I readily took him up on his offer to walk through another store since we were already up. 15 minutes later, and $60 less in my pocket, and you guessed it, we walk out of Best Buy with a video game that he wanted in hand. We make our way home, and later that night I shared the story with his mom, and she just laughed at me and was quick to point out that I'd just been taken by an 8-year-old. She was not wrong. Jack, like a lot of young boys, has a streak of fearlessness, whether it's taking off down a mountain, skiing before he knows how to stop, or jumping off a diving board into a pool, like he did at Barney's house before he knew how to swim. He dropped like a stone. His friend Chase is complicit in this as well. The two of them thought it would be fun to become human sleds and pull one another behind Chase's ATV. Jack Scott cannot get out of this. Jack Scott and Jack literally were playing human leapfrog the other day. I watched this, and that wouldn't be too problematic in and of itself, except they were doing high hurdles over each other into the pool. I said Jack is loyal to a fault. I believe this was sometime when he was in kindergarten. First week of school, I get a call. We get a call from the principal's office. He said, "There's been a discipline problem. Could we come down and meet with the principal and Jack?" So I head down that way, and as I'm walking in, I see Jack Scott's father walking in as well. "So what are you doing here?" He said, "I got a call. My kid is at the office." I said, "Funny, so's mine." Turns out the two Jacks got into a fight, not with each other, on the playground. What had happened is he had come to the defense of one of their friends who was being picked on by the second graders. The two of them looked on the second graders. Now, there's a zero tolerance policy for fighting in schools. I can assure you that when Jack Scott and Jack Sabin walked out with their fathers, the school wasn't looking, the principal wasn't looking, they got high fives when he Jack's a competitor. He plays soccer, baseball, basketball. There are two photos of Jack that are my all-time favorite. One of them is when he was playing basketball. He had a nickname, he was Tenacious D, probably from Coach Jerry. And he's guarding his friend named Chewy, who's about 2 feet taller than Jack and wider. And Jack's in the photo, and the only way you can tell is because you see his large feet. But he's hidden behind Chewy, who he's guarding. He's always fighting for the ball. It never matters what the size of the guy is that he's playing against. In soccer, you get paired up against what the Campbells call the man-child. That's proof you're a tough athlete. And we're very proud of the way you compete. Jack performs well in school. It wasn't always clear to me in the early years that he would. Maybe going back to 3rd or 4th grade, I didn't really have a handle on whether he was succeeding in his schoolwork. Does he really know how to read? I'd never seen read at home. And the teacher said, he's doing great. I said, really improve it. Because I never saw him doing any homework or reading or studying like I had to do. And I wondered how he's going to advance to the next grade. And the teachers kept us on a need-to-know basis. So I was sitting in a library one night, and Jack comes downstairs and asks me if I've ever heard of the author Ayn Rand and some books she wrote, The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. And then he asked if he had copies of these texts. Excited that he expressed any interest in reading, I went and pulled copies of the books for him. I handed them to him and proudly watched him, these are big books, watch him trudge upstairs with these huge books stacked against his chest, intent on reading them. I was so caught up and enthused about his interest in these texts, and I was quick to go tell Amber. And she looked at me with her big brown eyes. She looked right through me, and she said, did you ask him how he came up with these titles? They're not exactly on the 5th grade reading list. And I looked at her somewhat puzzled and said, no, I didn't even think about it. So I worked my way back upstairs, and I asked Jack, he said you've been watching a YouTube interview and heard them discussing the books. Satisfied with that answer, I said, okay, and started back downstairs to share the intel with Amber. I caught myself halfway down the stairs. I realized I better ask what exactly interviews he was watching. He told me he'd done a Google search on his Uncle Brad and wanted to be a businessman like him. Uncle Brad was being interviewed, and Jack heard him say how these books were influential, so he thought he'd better read them. So good job, Jack. We love that you take good advice and have a thirst for knowledge and are curious. That's with everything, whether it's science, sports, the Guinness records that you memorize, sometimes politics and government. His questions never end, and I hope they never will. It is our fervent wish that you continue to explore the world around you, take it all in, continue to put your spin on it, use your own lens and create your own unique vision. And don't be overly influenced by others. Please use some good judgment. Your devotion to friends and family is immense. Your caring to your community is shown in your Mitzvah project to help the homeless and address food insecurity is so very important. These are the types of investments that will pay you back dividends for the rest of your life. And as you shared your wisdom today in your speech with us, a few words for you to remember. You can never have enough friends in life. You will never regret being kind to others. And enjoy yourself on this ride, as life can be a real fast one. Leave this the signature of yourself and on others, and that you can pass on too. We love you.
understanding the responsibilities for me. Using the Jewish tradition as my guide. Help always to choose the right over the wrong, to get over the evil, and so let a meaningful way improve the world around me. I know that the conducting this performance from worship service is not the end of the process, but the beginning. I accept the worship service is not the end. I accept the responsibility of continuing to learn and using the knowledge that I gain for all. For all that I have received and for all that I hope to become. I pray for your guidance, even as I declare to my Israel and God, heal Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people who spread our mark, and those of every race and nation, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Warner's Cottage may be found on page 629. Yikadal, Tume'Allah, Ve'Alma, Libras, Yote, Yamut, Malkote, Kaye Kon, Yome Kon, Kaye, the Holy Israel, Ba'agala, Vizman Kavi, Rami, Hey Shmeir, Alama, Barak, Alama, Me'amaya, Yiparak, Yishtamak, Yipa'ar, Yimami, Naseh, Yipagar, Yipale, Yipalam, Shmeir, Kudisham, Leila, Mikol, Birkata, Shirata, Tushpikata, Nechamata, Damiran, Yolamar, Rame, Yehei, Shlama, Rabba, Mitzvah, Vahim, Alein, Yaakov, Israel, Rame, Oseh, Shalom, Bimramal, Yaseh, Shalom, Alein, Yaakov, Israel, Rame. May the source of peace and peace to those who are all as we say, Amen. Please be seated. Immediately following the closing songs, with great thanks to Sharon and to Bart, and to Mark as well, and Trayvon for running the live stream all morning. I believe there's a luncheon prepared downstairs, and we'll do Kiddush and Motzi. We'll say grace before we start eating, and talk to Amber, because I think the table settings are very carefully calibrated to conform to family genetic lines and keeping keeping social distances, whatever. Anyway, so Amber, I guess you'll probably just direct it at what table. Consult with Amber before sitting down and talking. All right, our closing song then, page 729 of the hall.
You want to say something to your family?
Hello, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Here. Okay.